Hi and welcome to this week's eSaleshub video. So this week I'm looking at industry benchmark comparisons and specifically Google Ads industry benchmarks for 2019. Now Wordstream do an amazing job of pulling this data together and they've been doing it since 2016. And I've got to be honest with you, it's one of my go-to industry benchmarks that I use to see how well our campaigns are doing. Now they've just updated the 2019 stats. If you go to their website, as you can see here, they've updated their stats literally only a couple of days ago. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to have a look at our client performance and where we generate leads and compare it to the benchmarks that Wordstream have produced, because Wordstream's data, I think it's worldwide based, but it's got a heavy slant towards the US. I also think it covers more generic search terms rather than just local search. And I really wanted to see, actually, if you're measuring calls and form fills right the way through to sale, what does that do in terms of conversion? And does local search provide you with a competitive advantage? Do you get a better click-through rate and a higher conversion from local search compared to Wordstream's own benchmarks? So what we've done in this video is I've pulled together data from all of our clients. Now, as you'll notice, not all the industries that Wordstream benchmark are actually in our client range. So we don't have a dating client as an example, so we can't report against that benchmark. But I've chosen March 2019 as the data set purely because it's a 31-day month. There are no bank holidays. There's nothing that can make the data a little bit squiffy. So click-through rate. What we've done is the data we're going to show you is reported against exactly what's in the Google Ads interface. So we're just taking out the AdWords interface and we're putting it as a comparison. Now on the conversion side, what Google do is that essentially, well, I say Google, I mean Wordstream. What Wordstream do is report on what is in Google as a conversion. Now, as you well know, within Google Ads, you can set many different things as a conversion. You can set a form fill as a conversion. You can set a sale as a conversion. What we do as a business is, because we're tracking calls and form fills, and we're tracking those calls, that the physical search term that's generated that call, right the way through to sale, we're uploading our client sales data back into Google AdWords. So what we've taken as the conversion is actually the sales conversion that someone is getting from one of our leads. So that's what we've compared it against. Now, would you believe we actually measure conversion hourly? And it's the conversion we've measured is unique user to lead generated and then a sale bin generated. And as I mentioned, we track both calls and form fills. So we're giving the total holistic view. Now, I don't know if Wordstream actually collect data from calls as well as form fills. I'm guessing the only thing that they're collecting, obviously, whatever's in Google Ads. And not everybody uses, call tracking software, and particularly not the tracking software that we have, that we've developed ourselves, that enables you to track the specific keyword and search term right the way through to sell and to put that data back into ads, Google Ads that is. So that's where you might see a bit of a difference in the data. But let's compare apples to apples. Let's look at the click-through rate first. So as you can see here, straight off the bat, you can see the click-through rate that we're getting is quite a bit higher than what Wordstream are reporting. Now, could be a couple of different reasons for this. One of the things, as you know, we specialise in local search. The more relevant and targeted an ad is, the higher the click-through rate you're going to be. Now, Wordstreams is an average. You could have some really, really poor campaigns that are dragging the average down. But as you can see here, local search is definitely giving an advantage on click-through rate. Having a relevant ad that is targeted to someone from a geo-targeting point of view definitely generates a much higher click-through rate, and that's definitely what we're seeing. I mean, from my point of view, having run local search and kind of more brand and more non-local search related ads previously, you can see here across the range, we are getting a much higher click-through rate, and I think it's because the ads just way more relevant to the user, because Google's data themselves says that about 66% of people expect ads to be local to them. And I think definitely our strategy of targeting people with a locally based ad is paying dividends with a higher click-through rate. So from that point of view, I definitely think local search gives you a competitive advantage over the Wordstream data set, that's for sure. What gets more interesting though is conversion. As I mentioned to you, we're actually measuring the conversion that we are putting back into Google. So that is the sales conversion. Now, as you can see here, I'm not 100% sure if Wordstream do actually use sales conversion or whether they're talking about page conversion. They're just talking about an event basically. So that could be a sale, it could be a form fill, it could be a call, it could be anything really that the user, whoever account it is, decides to measure. But as you can see here across the board, we're pretty much in double figures in everything that we do. From a finance point of view, you can see it's one of our lowest categories at 11%. But when you're talking about personal loans, mortgages, logbook loans as well, the industry average is kind of, in the 6-7% conversion. So to get 11% sales conversion is pretty good. Some of our highest are the automotive industry, driving MOTs and service bookings. We have a client who literally, is getting almost 2 out of 3 leads that we provide them. They're getting a sale out of them. And again, for me, it's about the relevancy of the ad. That's the great thing about local search. It really enables you to really target your message to that local market so you can adapt to different trends, different needs, different things in that market to drive that conversion up. Because at the end of the day, generating leads is it's great. It definitely should be part of your strategy, but you can be a real busy fool if that lead isn't turning into a sale. You can make yourself think you're doing a great job driving all these leads, but whoa, hang on a second, why they're not converting? And it isn't the sales team's fault. Sometimes, and we know from our own data, there are some keywords that will drive a hell of a lot of leads, but they just don't convert. And do we always know the reason why they don't convert? No, but we can see words that absolutely do convert into sales conversion because we're tracking the click through to the call, and then once that call's been finished, we can then see the sales conversion, the invoice value that's attributed to that call, and then we've got a very, very good idea and a very good data line that we can then insert back into Google Adwords to get that quality score improvement by sharing our conversion data. Some people are worried that by sharing their sales data back with Google, they'll just put the price up of the keywords. We on average see an 8 to 12% drop in cost per click when we share invoice values with Google per keyword. So it does make a very, very big difference, I think, to people and to definitely your account performance. So for me, the big takeaway from these benchmarks is, it's about tracking phone calls from Google. It's not just about form fills. It's not just about tracking a conversion. It's, well, what does that conversion mean? And it's not just how many calls, but what are genuine leads. Not every single call is going to be a lead. It could be a duplicate call. It could be someone phoning up for a job, someone phoning up selling advertising. But really, and that's the beauty of our system, it spots those and doesn't count them towards your figures. But then it's taking that genuine lead and then tracking it right the way through to sale so that you can insert that value back into Google AdWords and just get a whole bunch of benefits from using the Google AdWords interface. So that's our advice. As ever, please do leave your comments at the bottom of this video. If you have any questions, please do get in contact. But thanks for watching our eSaleshub video.